Long stream today, a lot of decks I want to get through. We're going to be kicking off with double Pioneer this morning, trying to work through that queue. This first deck is one I'm hoping I will still be excited to play it after we're done playing today. So this is Kethis combo, which is a deck that I've liked a lot earlier in the format. I'm interested to see how it feels today in a post, combo-centric world. So this deck was a thing in Standard once upon a time. We played it in Historic a few times as well. We've also played it in this format, but not since Eldraine and Uro happened. So the basic idea is Kethis lets you recast a bunch of legendary cards from your graveyard, and you utilize this with Diligent Excavator and Emry to get your graveyard all filled up. And then you use these legendary cards with Diligent Excavator to flip the entirety of your deck into your discard pile, and then eventually you win by casting Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, and then using his alt text. So one of the reasons why I like this deck is it has a very reasonable backup game plan against people who are interacting with it. So you've got Uro and Kethis as ways to just like beat people down, and Lazav notably with Uro is really slick because Lazav can copy Uro and then start attacking right away. So let's go ahead and hop on into a constructed league with this one and see how it goes. It is a bonus stream day. Thanks everybody that checked out the raid sponsor to help us hit the goal for today. Y'all are great. Yeah, I think this is fine. So the mana in this deck can be a little bit awkward sometimes, so I think the threshold for keepable hands is definitely a little bit lower when you can cast any spells that you draw. Diligent Excavator should be pretty okay here. Their deck has a lot of 2-1s, so we've got a 1-3. Also have some 3-2s which will attack through, obviously, but Kethis actually lines up well against those as well, which is nice. So with the second Blooming Marsh drawn here, we can actually play Kethis without taking any damage from our mana next turn, which is great. Urborg. Urborg is actually really reasonable for us because Urborg lets our Mana Confluence tap for black without dealing damage to us, which is wonderful. We actually play Urborg ourselves in this deck, not only for its interaction with Mana Confluence, but also because Urborg in our graveyard's a legendary card. You can exile the Kethis. Jund Clothis is doomed to haunt me just ever so slightly out of reach. It is, we'll see. I might also get to a 4th standard deck today, so we'll see if we necessarily stop where that's listed to stop today. Sometimes the decks go quick. I always underestimate. Oh right, this cost me 1 less. Sweet. Tap 2 mana and didn't need to. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Walker. Yeah, it's been a lot of... I've enjoyed the game a lot. I think we're up to I think we've got 4.5 clans full of people that are playing. So we're not super close to comboing right now because I don't have a Diligent Excavator in play at the moment. Although this is going to get to turn into an Excavator next turn, but I do have plenty of defense up here, right? Like my 3/4 and my 1/3s are pretty reasonable. We're hoping to dodge Spawn of Mayhem and Wrinkle here. Rip. So they're going to smack us with this. They might make us discard. They're definitely going to make us sacrifice. Yep, discard sacrifice. Maybe Beansy. Ooh, that's a good draw. So what do I want to do here? If I copy Excavator, I can't play Emry this turn. I think that's fine, though. Oh, I tapped off my green. That's fine. I think, especially with this, I want to get my graveyard filled up. Mox Amber. Nice. So I get to play this, which lets me mill some. And now I can cast Emry, right? Does this still tap for blue? It does. This is still legendary. Okay. So this mills me a bunch. So then I think the plan here, God, there's a Ruinous Blast. If we can live through next turn, that'll be real good. So I think the plan here is activate this, exile a Kethis, exile a backup Uro, cast Fblthp. The march to Shillionaire continues. Drunken wants the R&D. Thank you for the 12 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Get you a sword to go with that shield. Something that might be fun, something I've thought about doing in the past. People have asked about doing some streams or a little bit of content with politics being the focus. The South Carolina primary voting is today, so there's a very real chance we get the results of that while I'm still live, since we're doing a longer stream today. So maybe it could be fun to talk about some of that. Alright, so I'm going to block here. And this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This could hit me for one more and deal 9. I think that's fine, though. Because I don't want to throw away Fblthp because Rankle's likely to make me sacrifice here. I think I just go to 1 here, potentially. Bash Gooder. Thank you for the 24 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. They're not making a sacrifice. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Making me bin Fblthp doesn't really do much. They draw Thoughtseize. They drew Fatal Push. That's so brutal. So I can go tap for black, don't take damage. This. Gosh, and then I'm 1 mana short. I'm one mana short, right? Paulum, thank you for the quarter of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So I have Ruinous Blast in my bin, but it costs 4 to flash back. And I only have 3 because I can't shock in this Temple Garden. Think we're dead here. Oh, it doesn't kill Rankle anyways. Yeah, good call. Good call. Yeah, looks like we're dead here. This is definitely one of the decisions I made with this deck when I was putting it together. You'll notice I've got all my Othakayas in the sideboard. So kind of made a decision to make the main deck a little bit worse against aggro by boarding these and having extra Tamiyo and Jace, because these are better against like mid-range and control. Maybe that's wrong. Tamiyo is also fine against their linear decks just because she helps you find your combo pieces and race them. Hope of the Ghirapur isn't particularly exciting here, right? Like making them not cast their spells isn't super useful. What if we try this? Cutting this makes Emry a little bit worse. Do you think this is a fatal push matchup? This could just be a fatal push matchup. Just to be a scotch more interactive and stem the bleeding a little bit. Yeah, it's semi-relevant. She'll stop Rankle. Usually it's a little late for her to stop Thoughtseize in general. Go either way. I'm gonna submit without the fatal pusher for now. Might board them in when we're on the draw for game 3. I forgot to tweet that I was live. To do that. Hey chat, here's a question for people that remember the timelines, because I wanna post a tweet, but I wanna make sure I blast them. I wanna blast them with correct data. When was the first Magic Arena qualifier events on Magic Arena? Does anybody know? I'm Brazilian, and today I watched a video defending Bernie from accusation that he supports dictators. Meanwhile, all the other candidates seem to do the same with dictators from other countries in the Mid-West and China. In which way do Americans see relations of bringing democracy to other countries while supporting some dictators and financing? I mean, a lot of it's hypocritical, right? Also, like, a lot of the attacks on Bernie surrounding his comments on Castro are like operating in bad faith. I think Bernie stated his position really well. Like, facts are the facts, and like basically what Bernie said regarding Castro is sometimes people who are awful do bad things, or sometimes people who are genuinely terrible sometimes still do good things, right? And that was all he was pointing out. And, like, a lot of his political opponents jumped on the fact that, like, he decided to point out that a bad person did something, so had, like, a single thing that was good. And people decided to twist that to try and mean that he was supportive of everything that administration did, which is just, like, patently incorrect. We're doing all right. Mono black aggro is okay to play against. I like the Kethis combo deck. Yeah, even a stop clock is right twice a game. When they pressured him on that point in one of the interviews, and he had this response that I was very happy. He was just like, the facts are the facts. And it's just like, it's so refreshing to hear that, because like we currently live in an administration that's like largely devoid of facts in the United States. Just like whatever our current glorious leader says is supposed to be the facts. Did anybody remember, sorry, back to my thing I was asking about a second ago. Does anybody remember when the first Mythic Invitational qualifiers happened on Arena? Has it been an entire year since those yet? I forget the exact timeline. The Mythic Invitational itself was in like March last year, right? Our mana catching up with us a little bit here. Unfortunately, don't have any artifacts in the bin. Life is good. Thank you for the quarter of a year. I appreciate the continued support. Welcome back. All right, chat. You're here on a Saturday morning. You're here bright and early for the stream. You get to help me decide. Do we send this tweet off? Honestly, not sure which is more embarrassing. The fact that the Mythic Point event today only awards $10 worth of in-game credit to people who go 10-0, or the fact that almost a year later we are still having major arena events with no coverage / no spectator mode. Is that a good one? I feel like that's a good one to send off in the morning. Just like start off our minus 500 ticker right away. Tweet it. Lebo understands how this works with the biddies. Over back here in the game of Pioneer, we're probably dead. I suppose now they're definitely going to take my Ruinous Blast here, right? Like almost assuredly. We'll see. If we run off a couple of green sources here, we can be fine. Run off a couple of green sources, we can be fine. How are you gonna pay your $500 penalty with only $10 worth of what he's asking the real questions? Well, you know. Spend $200 on cards, win $10 for the highest ranking event in the platform. Don't do it for the money, kids. How was Phil's first clause intended to be used? Is this a setup for a joke? I don't know if I understand what you're asking. Hey, thanks for the 10 months, Tefara. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Well, you got a shield next to your name, Crazy Cat Man. And shields always come with swords. You have to protect the realm. Twitch is weird and often updates people's sub icons before they actually send the 12-month notification, which is a touch awkward. Morning, Shadow Kid.
Daddy.
Yes, Jacob. Oh, thank you, buddy.
You're welcome, Daddy. Here's your new armrest.
You brought the arm to my chair.
Mr. Armrest.
Mr. Armrest. Look at that, chat. We're gonna fix my chair. Oh, that's only line of the void. That's only line of the void. They always leave the door open, chat. They always leave the door open. Oh, how's the first clause intended to be used? I think it's just a flavor thing. You're not supposed to mechanically utilize it. Oh, you mean the draw extra cards or the target clause? So if he enters a battlefield, yeah, you can use that with like Vanathir and stuff. One would fall. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, so I mean, we could technically gain some life here, but these just exile. Yeah, we're pretty dead at this point. Leyline's pretty good against us. Pretty good. I don't know what they are doing on the floor above me, and I'm kind of scared to ask. this isn't a real headline, right? There's no way this is a real headline. Thanks. Thank you for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, it's just a 2-mana legend that helps you kind of churn through your deck. If you haven't been following much Pioneer, Mike, I don't know if this deck's actually still good. It felt okay at the start of the format, but I think there's it's a new match, right? New match, new opponent. Weird. The problem, and this is talks about some of the issues with this deck versus some of the more streamlined combo decks that exist now, is that like playing cards like Thoughtseize in this deck really dilutes you in a meaningful way, because remember, when you start comboing off, you need to be hitting a density of legends in your graveyard. So to fit things like Thoughtseize into the deck, you have to cut legendary cards a lot of the time, which, while it's useful when you're drawing something like Thoughtseize, it's pretty bad when you're like actually trying to combo off. I think I keep that there, because while that'll be a tapped land next turn I can go Kethis tapped land, and then we can sub to Ruinous Blast the following turn. Wishclaw. Wishclaw is interesting because Wishclaw works with Emry, and it works with Kethis technically. No, it doesn't, right? Is it? No, Wishclaw's not legendary, right? It's historic though, so it works with this at least. Yeah, like, and decks like this one that we're playing, I think are actually really good examples of combo decks that I think are pretty okay. I think a format where a deck like this is good is a pretty reasonable format, just because, like, the number of interaction points you have for this deck are incredibly high. You get lots of opportunities at lots of points to, like, interact with how our combo is trying to get set up to work. Yeah, Leyline's actually meaningful interaction against us. Creature removal is meaningful interaction against us. Get a rematch here against Black Aggro. They stumbled that game, so pretty easy for us. We'll see what happens in the post-board games here. Definitely want all my Ruinous Blasts if our opponent's likely to be... what's it calling us? Leylining us. Definitely want these Oathakayas. Yeah, three mana to find the cards you want, though, is just like a lot of mana, especially with how brutal this format's gotten of the late. I think I keep this. Like, there are Thoughtseize decks, so, like, mulliganing against a Thoughtseize deck isn't necessarily stellar. And, like, if I find any legendary, like, both these spells are good. I have all my colors. My threshold for hands I'm willing to keep when I have all my colors tends to be much lower, especially against decks that are going to be Thoughtseizing me. This is notably not legendary, so it does get cleared out by Ruinous Blast. Put a mulligan to 6 to find this. So we're just like looking for that. Exactly that. That is exactly what we wanted for Christmas, chat. I'm going to keep Time Raveler here as well, which could also interact with Leyline. Sideboard seemed a little laggy. Don't forget to restart your client between games like a professional. That's just how this client works. That's Magic Online running at peak performance. Listen, if I click my settings down over here, I've already disabled the animations. I took my Othakaya, really. I feel like the Othakaya take there kind of implies that my opponent is likely to have another discard spell here. I think it would be less work to upgrade the UI on Magic Online because all the card rules are already in there. No, I don't. I think if that was less work, they would have already done it. I think it is very, very likely the case that the code for how the cards work and the code for the UI in Magic Online are not separate, and it's not possible to just put a new UI easily on top of what Magic Online already has. I think is very likely the case. They started Magic Arena as a brand new project because that's what it needed to be. Almost assuredly, I think. Well, the fact they just attacked my Teferi would imply that they don't have a way to take it off the table. So unless they have another discard spell here, really surprised they played Rider out there. If you weren't here yesterday and you don't keep up on Magic news, they posted the new Historic Anthology cards, and gosh, do they look awesome. I saw you in Discord the other day, Mike, talking about wanting to poke at Magic a little bit more. Historic's looking like it might actually be a sweet format. They're starting to inject a number of cards directly back into it. We're getting Knight of the Reliquary and some other sweet things. They're adding cards to it that like aren't modern and aren't Pioneer legal, which is great. Bye, friends. Red for life forever. Thank you for the absurdly generous tier 3 resub. Thanks for the 23 months at that. Got charged 14% tax on her Twitch sub. That's a little obnoxious. Yeah, Maelstrom Pulse is sweet too. Hold on, folks. I'm gonna do it again. Bye, friends. To be fair, Mike, pseudo free to playing on Arena once you like pick up a deck to start is like pretty decent. It's pretty easy. Every set release, like I pick up like 100 packs just from gold. So like someone playing a more sparing amount could probably easily get half of that. Alright, so what are we looking for at this point? I think it's just Kethis to start. Nothing super useful there. I'm gonna go ahead and draw a card with this. I've got another one in my hand. Let's just like try and find some action before they draw out of this. Yeah, Uro would be great. Uro we don't really want to name though, because we can mill into that and it's fine. Opponent's Black Castle here, letting them go ahead and draw some extra cards. I'm gonna go ahead and name Kethis again. Bunch of misses. Do I play Excavator out here? I think the answer is yes. You're saying all it takes to free-to-play Arena is do 40 hours a week. One, I don't play Arena 40 hours a week. It's probably closer to 25 to 30. And two, I definitely more than, like, you can't do daily quests for 4 hours a day. So, like, a lot of my time spent playing isn't actually earning in-game currency. Talk to me about Ink's game. What's going on, Shame Spiral? Congrats on winning one of the giveaways. If you did not see it, I posted a video on my YouTube channel showing me going through and pulling the raffle, the giveaway winners for the charity stream. You can find that up there now. Also tweeted out the list of names. I'm just gonna go ahead and 1-for-1 this, I think. Just like get rid of this friend. Yeah, no camp ahead, no joke, friendo. That's not how this works. Maybe I should let Teferi die and wait till end of turn to do that. If we can, like, find a Kethis at some point here, we're in, like, a really reasonable spot. Get 5 more shots at a Kethis this turn. Ding, ding, ding. My Jojo, thank you for the 17 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Wow, there actually aren't many cards in here, are there? That's super awkward. Huh? What an incredibly awkward draw. I think I'm still doing this, because, like, Ruinous Blast getting rid of Night plus casting a Fblthp sounds fine. But we're definitely not as well off as I thought we were about to be. This costs 4, because Kethis makes it cost 1 less. Yeah, so part of it, Klets, is people are speculating that a number of the cards that they're adding are, one, some of them do supplement existing archetypes in Historic that are a little bit too weak but they also, that list is probably them preparing to add a cube to Arena, I would assume. Spep, thanks for the 21 months. Welcome back. Like I would be floored if we don't get a cube draft on Arena this year. I'd be absolutely shocked. Hey, Sean, thanks for the 1.5 years support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Fblthp, hide. All right, so I'm gonna grab Diligent Excavator here. Make blue, make black, cast this. Bounce Mox Amber. Play Mox Amber, mill myself. Getting married today, can I get a word of wisdom? Pick your battles. If you don't care about something, don't fight about it. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year, Katana. Hope you have a wonderful wedding day. Don't try and fight just because you feel like winning. Trying to win arguments with your significant other is actually losing. But what if my not caring is the topic of the fight? Alright, so I boarded Jace out here. I think they exiled one of my Oath of Kayas earlier, right? So I need to find my other Oath of Kaya, and then we will cast Oath of Kaya again and again and again and kill them. So we'll start making black and white mana. Oh, I didn't even think about it, that it was leap year. Hey, if you get married on leap year, you only get to celebrate every 4 years then? Is that how that works? You only have to remember an anniversary every 4 years? That's exactly how that works, right? You're off the hook except for every 4 years? It's good. That's just good planning right there. So we mill through our deck here. And then at some point, we will find our other Othakaya. And then we'll start casting these Othakayas to kill the opponent. Somehow I don't think it'll work out that way, right? So Othakaya is legendary. So when we find the second one here, we'll be able to loop them. More money to give Jeff with less anniversary. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your savings. I wouldn't complain, though. I like dollars. Exile, exile. Found the other Othakaya. Cast the Othakaya. Our deck is gone. Keep that one. This one hits you. And, like, I could kill them by attacking here, but I feel like it's important to send a message. It's important to let them know that Kethis doesn't get his hands dirty. So, 2 different ways you could win. You board the Jace out in the aggressive matchup because you're boarding in the Othakayas, and this is why. So, looping Othakaya in the aggressive matchup like that is the way you actually win the game. And that's nice and elegant because Othakaya is a fine card to just actually draw in the aggressive matchups. Investing in Jeff has a more stable rate of return than the market. It's the best Aroc. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. This combo requiring the legend roll to win is proof Magic players will root anything printed on a Magic card. Listen, we're leveraging synergies. This is close. I think I'm supposed to mulligan because it's a little bit land heavy and one of our black sources is a Mana Confluence. I think if I had one more spell or if one of these lands made black mana without hurting us, I'd keep this, but I think this is just a little bit too poor to keep. This hand's fine. Not amazing, but fine. I think I'm going to bottom a Botanical Sanctum here. Is that greedy? That's probably greedy, huh? Is it crazy to just bottom Kethis here? Well, so I can go Sanctum, Urborg, Lazav, Uro on 3, copy Uro, attack on 4, which is kind of appealing. Spirits. Would not be surprised this matchup is challenging. Curiouser and Curiouser, chat. Now, that being said, this Lazav getting to resolve next turn could mean that it copying Uro lets us run away with the game. So we'll see. Not looking for that land at this point. Winged Words. Okay, so they're just like a blue-white skies deck as opposed to spirits. Could mean less counter magic. So, do I want to shock in a land to play Excavator? I think I do. Yeah, we've played Lazav with Kroxa before. The problem with Lazav with Kroxa is that it's Grixis, and Grixis is Grixis. Noted Grief. Spinefeeks, thank you for the quarter of a year of support. Welcome back. Ghosted, thank you for the 11 months. Yikes. Banishing Light is real good here. Second Curious Obsession, also strong. A full year indeed. Let's get you a Sword Moonlight. Welcome back. Feels Magic Man. 3 mana Def would have been a stellar draw there, since they elected to tap out. I think we're boarding very similarly to how we boarded in the last game. Just like removal spells and sweepers seems good. Do I maybe want Vraska in this matchup, especially if they have Banishing Light? Seems like it could maybe be reasonable. Let's try this. Maybe Teshar is fine, just because it's a 2/2 flyer. They could be a Spell Queller deck, though, and 4 mana spells against Spell Queller isn't stellar. Is Hope good against counterspell? So the problem with Hope is that Hope requires it to hit the opponent in order for it to turn off a counterspell. So this also doesn't really stop Spell Queller. It's non-creature spells. So I think Hope is pretty mediocre here. Yeah, we also don't know, like, spirits tend to have, like, some mystic disputes, but... I think your anticipation of cutting down mill guys is wrong. Our ability to win a fair game in a matchup like this is probably pretty low. So Diligent Excavator is a pretty key combo card, so I don't think you're ever supposed to trim that. Opponent has mulligan to 5 here. Probably bodes well for our hero. Although this hand does need another land. If we had a green source, it should be pretty good. We hit a non-green source. We can still play Othekai and Teferi, so I definitely think this is a range of keepable. We can cast any of our 2-mana spells that we might draw. Like that one. So really hoping for a green source this turn here. Hoping for any mana source now, so we can Othekai and stop their card advantage from happening. If we break out a land here, there's a good chance this Sailor just runs away with the game with Curious Obsession again. Nothing is really more peak Magic the Gathering than flooding out in the first game and then keeping a 2-lander and stumbling and dying in the second. Yeah, I agree, Marty. Occasionally having weekend tournaments that are meaningful to play in would be really nice. I actually joined the Mythic Point Challenge on Magic Arena this morning before I went live, but I don't think we're going to play it. I'll probably log in and just concede the 2 or 3 matches they let you concede to give some folks some free wins for people that care about it, but I think it's probably a waste of my time. I'd rather just play donation decks. It's definitely a better use of my whatever. Mr. Senpai Mike, thank you for the third of a year support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Bebo Saxman, thanks for 7 months. Welcome back. Yeah, it's funny. So we did a couple of sponsored segments with that Epic digital card game. Would you believe that their software has a tournament mode built into their client? Where you can play, where they have tournaments with cuts to top 8 that are all handled by the client and not some awkward third-party website. Yeah, correct, Marty. Like, the minimum donation I get to play a standard deck on Magic Arena is, like, more than I would get for 10-0ing that event. And, like, you know, I'll probably play 2 donation decks in the time it would take me to play it. Pretty easy mulligan here. I guess I'm keeping this. Again, threshold for keeps a little bit lower when you just have hands that have all your colors. I mean, the event today is an asynchronous event, so, like, you're not waiting for rounds to pop. So, like, in terms of content, it's, like, fine. Bottom Urborg there, explaining double green. Maybe, like, escaping this takes a little while. Although I guess with this, maybe that's not strictly true. Let me Pikachu. Thank you for the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. What event? There is a Mythic Point Challenge on Magic Arena today where you get 200 gems per match win. which for those not familiar with arena currency, you basically get $1 in in-game currency per match win. What are they getting here? How's Croaky's run going? One, two, I think now. Well, I'm sure he'll bounce back because he's number 2 on the ladder. And everybody knows the ladder's just the same as playing in tournaments, right? I think you get to play till 3 losses in the thing today. I think when I logged in, there were 3 lost bubbles. Yeah, you get to play till 3. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, main deck Tormod's Crypt. Kind of. Pseudo main deck Tormod's Crypt, right? I guess I'm just bouncing Jadelight Ranger. I guess. They should have a cage in there as well. Yikes. I think I'm going to call it a day on this deck. This is actually one that I had added back to the queue because I wanted to try it with Uro. And it just doesn't seem very good. Yeah, I mean, like, most of the things surrounding Kovoid that people are saying are, like, things you should be doing anyways. You should be washing your hands and not coughing on people. And, like, maybe the touching your face is, like, a little extreme compared to, like, other things during flu and cold season. But, like, a lot of it is just, like, common sense. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, so there's in Historic, we're actually going to get to it in Historic later next week, and we'll see there, but felt really lackluster today. Yeah, and part of it's the context of the format too. Like, there's different hate cards that people are interested in playing in this format. And we also lost a number of games just because our mana was awkward, which certainly happens in Historic as well. But I like this deck from the terms of combo decks. In terms of combo decks, I think are okay for the format, just because not only is it a little bit lower power level, but there's an actual cost associated with this, which is relevant. At any rate, I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while I get everything flipped over and set up for the next one. We're going to smash our head into a second Pioneer deck today. When we get back, we're going to take a crack at green-red aggro. After green-red aggro, we're going to roll on into some Historic and Standard on Arena. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.